Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello and welcome back to the channel where you join me today here at Buttonwillow Race Park. It is time to get my GT500 on track. The Mustang GT4 is also here. That sounds insane. I'm here with the guys from FSE LA who did the alignment on my GT500, who swapped over the rear tyres to get it ready for today to take it for its maiden outing on circuit. Up to this point, I have never gone anywhere with it. We've done nearly 7,000 miles now on the Where's Shmee US Edition Tour. There's a lot going on, completely private day, basically the track to go and do as we please. So let me show you a few things that we've done to get this car set up, and then it's going to be time to go out on track with the GT4. Coming back around then, out on track is the Mustang GT4, and the sound that this thing makes is an absolute racket. Listen to it flying down the start straight. What a noise. Also out on track, you can just see coming past in the background there, my friend Joe Gatt in his blue GT500 with the baller exhaust. We've got Porsches, we've got some Ferraris, McLarens. Speed Phenom is also here with the Corvette C8, but the guys have very kindly been prepping my car. A few things for the track prep. A big thanks to FSE LA for helping me with this after they set up the alignment and changed the rear tyres. Today they've just done three things to get this car ready to go out. The first, lowering the tyre pressures. Normally they're on 32, 33 PSI to go out on track. We put them to cold temps of about 27 PSI. We'll lower them again after it's warmed up a bit, and I suspect with an engine and car this heavy, they're going to get quite warm. We're on the original Sport Cup 2s up front, the rears are the new ones, but there are two other things. The first is to do with the rear spoiler. You can adjust the position. So up to this point, I've had the car in the normal low drag position, better for driving on the road. We have just pivoted it forwards a touch, which gives you a little bit more of an angle of attack at the back, a little bit more downforce. So that's now in the track setup. And the other thing is to do with the rain tray up front. I'm going to pop open the hood so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about with this. Come through here, pull the lever, pop that open. Never the easiest thing to do. We've got the hood pins, these are pressed. Then we've got the catch here in the center. Bit of a process, but we'll get there. Because up here, you normally have the rain tray covering it, which you remove to go out on track, helping with a little bit more airflow through, a little bit more cooling. But obviously if you have the rain tray in, if you park the car outside in the rain, it doesn't get so much gunk going through the engine. This just helps with cooling for exactly what we're gonna do now. Close that back down, needs a proper slam to make sure it's not ajar. We've got the carbon wheels. I think those front tires might be a bit dead after a couple of laps out there. What do we have? The GT4 coming back around. Sounds the part. Right, inside here then, we need to just do a quick bit of housekeeping, clear out the car, get it ready, 6,600 miles. First time though driving this car on track, get it warmed up. I cannot wait to experience it. It is very much a track focused version. It is a car that is supposed to do this. This is why we did the alignment and the setup. This is exactly why today we're here at Buttonwillow, a place I've been to on two previous occasions. The first was 7 years ago with the guys from Shift Sector when I came to join them, I think when the M3 was brand new. The second was in 2015, so yes, equally a long time ago, when I came with Gumball 3000, when we had a stop here on the way from San Francisco down to LA, and they were doing some test drives with Vipers. So it's been a long old time since I last went around this track, and I don't think I've ever actually driven it myself. So let's hop on board, let's head on out, let's go have some fun. It is time then to bring you out in the GT500, and I have just done a couple of sightseeing laps to get a small eye in. We're going to start in sport mode on the car. We'll go up the track and try some of the other settings as we make our way around. But already the experience driving in here is totally epic. This car, as you're about to see, allows you to step in and feel immediately completely at home with it. And I've got it in automatic at the moment, automatic and sport mode. And even in this setup, it's so aggressive on the track, it just feels great to begin with. So we've just lowered the tyre pressures after my first stint to make sure that they are all in check and all at approximately where we would like them to be. But out we go. It's very, very, very loud in here, and the track is definitely taking a little bit of learning just to get used to where we are, where the corners go. There are some deceptive turns here, some very, very deceptive turns. The straight line speed, that's where immediately you're like, how? And then you throw it into the corners, and the grip you get with the Cup 2s, which now have this temperature in them. Traction slightly throttling it back when you're in sport mode. It opens up a little bit more when you go up into track. But even here, the amount of grip, like I say, the gearbox working very, very in sync with what you want it to be doing already. A car this big and heavy should not go around the track this quickly straight away. You know, I've only done a handful of slower laps here so far, and the GT500 just gives you this confidence to hurtle it around. As we come up to a very blind crest over Phil Hill here, come up to the top, it dips away down to the right. You can feel traction just slightly holding things back because it's a car with near on 800 horsepower. It's very, very easy in here to get it a little bit wrong, we can say, as we come round towards the S's here at the end of the loop, and I'm doing my best to learn the track and to take it in. Riding over the curbs very, very well too, and I remember my first time on track behind the wheel of a GT500, I was blown away by the ease and comfort with which you can really just get in and press on. And as we come round now onto the next lap, I'm going to put it up. For track use only, it says on the dash. Fortunately, that's all good. We are out on a track. This is where you can put it into these settings. The back will happily slide around just a touch more now if we want it to. Drop it down through to second gear for the very tight corners here at the early stages of the Buttonwillow Raceway track. Unwind, power down. Even on a short straight, you're looking at 110 plus miles an hour there through the tight corners. This is where, like I said, when you start to get the heat and the temperature into the tyres, it's absolutely amazing how well this car just sticks, considering it's 4,000 and something pounds, which is just a bit of a heavy weight for this kind of thing. But nonetheless, the power, the performance, the lap times, the capabilities are really, really, really strong. My first outing on track in the GT500, and it is totally the rewarding experience that I was hoping it was going to be. It sticks like a supercar. The amount of grip around some of the tighter corners. Keep the foot flat through there. Big braking zone though, as you come in towards this hairpin. That's what I'm talking about, just keeping an eye on the fuel gauge. Because if you know anything about GT500s, they like to drink, and I don't want to be running out of fuel midway around the lap. Heavy on the anchors. It's amazing as well the amount of braking power that it has. Not running carbon ceramic, so we do need to watch out for the brakes and try not to overheat them too much. But around here, just hurtling it through corners. A car this big, with an engine up front this heavy, should not be able to drive like this. It should not be able to be chucked through corners as hard as you can chuck this through corners. Well, it's going to be time for a cool down lap then. The experience in here. What can I say? Wow, wow, wow. Let the brakes cool off because they are taking a beating with the weight of the car being thrown heavy into some of these big braking zones. I'm just beaming because this car is brilliant. It shouldn't be brilliant. It's too big, it's too heavy, it's too much of a lump, but it's absolutely brilliant. It just hooks up, it just gets the grip, it just feels absolutely planted, and I'm loving it. I'm totally loving it. I've got a line of cars behind me who probably don't realise that I'm on a cool down, so past they go. GT500 and Cayman. Needless to say, that was a pretty cool first outing on track in the GT500, doing what this car was built to do. The track pack with the carbon wing pivoted forwards with the Sport Cup 2 tyres, the carbon wheels, the rain tray removed for the first time, but so much grip and so easy to drive very, very fast. That's the incredible thing, is that the car just exceeds what you expect that this car should be able to do. I would love to go out in the Pista, for example, but I honestly think the optimum lap times that you could do between them, they're pretty close. This is very, 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 very fast. Oh, Pista is just back outside as we speak. Joe's GT500 behind. Overall though, I am having a great time, and I'm gonna go and do another stint. And I know it's gonna be epic, so let's hop back on board and get on out there. We're heading out again. Joe has gone in front, so we're gonna have the first few corners giving some chase. We will pop it into manual. We are in track mode. When you've got the windows down in this thing and you do the double pull, it's so stupidly loud. When you let go of the paddles, it re-engages the gear again. So, pit lane is clear. GT500 in front of me. We're in manual as we head on out again at Buttonwillow. And by the way, after we've done this little drive, we're going to do something epic because Billy Johnson is here, former GTLM race driver in the Ford GT, and he might take the wheel of this car and show us a thing or two. So fast. The grip that this car has. A Mustang should not be able to go around corners in the way that this does. It makes no sense. But it's so perfect. And how cool is this? GT500 chasing GT500. We're a little bit wide there. We're good, we're good. I tell you, the one thing I would like is a little bit more lateral support from the seats as the fuel light comes on. 50 miles, 49 miles already to empty, and I doubt we're going to be getting 50 miles to empty out of this. But no, I would like a little bit more side bolstering on the lower section of the seat to keep me that touch more planted in it. I need to get the right line. This last corner is really catching me out. Get a bit of understeer, go wide, tuck it back in, catch that curb, and you're off through the S's. Hitting the rackets as we go down the straight. Well, I think this is where the lack of fuel comes into play, and we're going to take it easy on the way back round, otherwise I'm going to be getting picked up from the side of the track with absolutely nothing left in the tank, which is not what anybody wants. But driving with the two cars, I mean, this is so loud inside that you don't really hear the other car at all. It's just like an absolute cacophony of noise and sound. An angry, shouty V8. For the last outing of the day then, something a little bit different. I'm going to be going in my car, but I'm not going to be driving it. Billy is, and we're going to be chased by Joe in his, and this might be quite a cool experience. It might be fast, it might be sideways. Let's see what happens in a moment. Let's hop back in. They have just been out having some fun with the 600 LT, Billy driving that, and the Pista in tow. So we're swapping from those two to these two to continue from here. Hey Billy, how you doing?
How's it going?
All good?
All good.
Good to see you again. Good to be driven by you in another GT500. This
Awesome.
is like reminiscent of being in Vegas.
Yes, definitely.
Shall we hop in and just go straight out?
Let's have some fun.
Let's do it. Joe, you ready? Let's go. Perfect, perfect. I've got the keys in my pocket, but already. So, you were very heavily involved in testing and developing this car.
Yes.
So every time you get back behind the wheel of one, it feels special. It feels kind of
It does. It feels like home. It feels like, I don't know, kind of like my baby.
Yeah. So what mode are we going in?
We are going in track mode with everything turned off.
Track mode with everything off. That sounds good.
That sounds good. So it's usually the mode I like to drive in, whether it's lap times or having some fun.
Yeah. Oh, there goes the GT4 as well.
Yeah, I worked on that too.
Perfect. Well, we got to go then. We got to keep that in our sights.
I raced that in your homeland. In England, in British GT.
Okay. Oh yeah. Cool. Right. We are out on track then. See, I can learn some lines from you here. This is my first day here at Buttonwillow, so I'm trying to learn a lot very quickly. God, when you're in the passenger seat of the car, it feels absolutely ridiculous. But so much grip. The biggest thing to me is that a Mustang should not go this quickly.
They shouldn't. But the whole Ford Performance team was able to make it do stuff it just outright should not be able to.
I'm holding on tight. This is bad. Wow, 100 miles an hour around there. Oh gosh, G-forces. We got up over the crest. Wow. That was a serious lap.
There's Jill.
Oh wow. Late braking there. Why not? I mean, that just demonstrates how much power this has. You know, we're on street tires, not slicks.
This has essentially the same wing as that car.
Yes, sits slightly lower though. GT4 has a slightly higher strut. Wow, that's cool. I mean, we have the horsepower advantage. Wow. Cheeky, very cheeky.
So these cars, these GT500s, the lap times are very similar, very close to a full-blown GT4 race car like that.
On road tires. Wow. Well, that's the longest slide my GT500 might do.
Well, that was 100 miles an hour.
The longest and the fastest. Wow. My goodness, that was beautiful. You are a hero. But I noticed how much you used the turn in to give it the flick.
Yeah, so despite how heavy the car is, despite the less than ideal weight distribution, we worked really hard on improving the ABS and also the suspension so it's able to flick into a corner.
Yeah.
Because normally a nose heavy car doesn't turn in.
Yeah.
So we were able to really get the car to have great turn-ins.
When you're sitting in the passenger seat, you realise even more than when you're clutching the steering wheel how much grip it has.
Yeah.
Like it's, I would say it's slightly kind of mind-boggling in terms of the physics of how a car that's 4,000 pounds or so manages to put the power down like this.
That's another thing. It puts down 760 horsepower.
Yeah. And it gets a move on. It's not like it's struggling or... It's so phenomenally fast. Yep, 120 miles an hour slide. 120 miles an hour sideways. You're a hero. Wow, my GT500 is very lucky. It's been blessed today.
Well, it's been blessed by the fact that you brought it to the track. Like, these are so good on track, it's a shame to not take it to the track and actually see what these things are capable of.
Yep, because they can do this. Wow. Wow, wow. That was so cool. Thank you. That was so cool.
Thank you. Awesome.
It's done that many miles and now it's been piloted by somebody who knows how to pilot it properly, so thank you for that so much.
No problem.
Now some major helmet hair going on, but what a phenomenal car. This thing just hauls around there, around Buttonwillow with Billy at the wheel. He also has a YouTube channel, by the way, with more of what he gets up to and showing how to drive properly, some training, that kind of stuff, and some serious lap driving. But this car is just epic. I mean, this thing has already been to its VMAX, it's done the line lock, it's done drag strip races, it's driven coast to coast across the US, it's been used for a lot of things, a month or so old, 7,000 or so miles, and now it's been thrown around a racetrack as the Track Pack GT500 was supposed to do. What an awesome day here with FSE LA. Before we get back on the road, we need to slightly reinflate the tyres, put the rain tray back in the front, put the wing back into the normal road level, given it's going to do a lot more miles on long distance driving. But that was a great opportunity to enjoy a lot of sound, a lot of sights, a lot of GT500, a lot of going very, very fast in a way that the brain doesn't properly compute. So a big thanks to Billy, a big thanks to Joe, the guys of course at FSE LA, excuse me, for getting everything set up today. Awesome outing at Buttonwillow, but for now, that is all. Thank you very much for watching, as always guys, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers!